Bonjour and hello and welcome. So for some reason, I just find this YouTube interface for doing the Q&As much easier, especially reading your comments. So thank you very much to everyone that's come over, that's tuned in. And yeah, this is your opportunity to ask me anything. I'm in my dad's study at my parents' house, but we have as much time as you need to ask anything you like. So please use the comment section to the side. Someone got in a bit early and said, what were you doing age 24? I'm a bit lost. Two things that I would say to someone that's not sure what to do with their life. This is actually part of my most recent book. If I was 24 and I wasn't sure what I was doing, one, I would try and find a profession that was in line with my values, something that I found personally rewarding. Your friends might think you're crazy, your family might think you're crazy, but the wealthiest thing you can have in your 20s is a job that you enjoy. Second thing is to take stock of any of your inadequacies. You know, young people, myself especially at 24, this is when I took steroids, this is where I did dumb shit. We have a lot of insecurities that we're battling in our younger 20s. And, you know, I shouldn't have done the way I did it. But I think that anyone in their 20s that can just keep themselves busy working on developing their insecurities is going to, you know, not waste any of that time. Ismail, salaam alaikum. Alaikum salam. JC, are you circumcised? I am not circumcised. This is a very interesting topic. You know, this isn't really what the Q&A is for, but if you think about it, like, in what world do you do a procedure on someone before the issue has arisen? It's all, and like, if it's for religious reasons, I'm not refuting it, but like, you wouldn't take a baby's appendix out in case it got appendicitis. So sometimes I'm always a bit intrigued about the whole circumcision thing. Ethan, have you watched the Game Changers on Netflix? Yeah, a lot of people know that was absolute rubbish. So much of that. If you wanted to make a pro-vegan documentary, you could. They didn't make a factual one. You know, there's a lot of stuff in that that's just misinformation. There's a lot of stuff in that that's propaganda. So what do you think about going vegan? Whichever way you look at it, you know, vegan alternatives mean that animals don't have to suffer in the production of meat. I get that. But then, you know, you're just swapping animals. When you look at things like avocados, almonds, all of these things that are water intensive, land intensive, monocropping agriculture, whichever way you go, there's going to be death and destruction. You know, people go, what about bugs that you rip up making plant-based alternatives? If you want to be vegan, but it makes your diet a lot more complex. Your ability to, you know, have a good diet whilst being vegan is harder. Scott Jackson, best way to build consistency. I know what to do, but consistency is horrendous. Scott, it's about doing things that you can do every day. And it's, you know, something I spoke about on a recent podcast I went on. Doing something 5 times a week versus doing it every day, I believe you're going to have a lot more success doing it every day. So whether it's a step count, whether it's tracking calories, whatever it is, something that you could do every day, I think is the most important thing. Let's have a look. Wow, some good comments here. I'm going to try and move through them a little bit quicker. Dave, went to your Manchester show, didn't have a clue who you were, really enjoyed it, left the O2 Apollo feeling a lot better. Excellent. Stupid question. If I'm trying to gain weight, muscle, can I lose fat at the same time? Not really. Some people can, especially people new to training, but ultimately the human body is either getting bigger or getting smaller. This is known as anabolism or catabolism. So the process of losing fat is a catabolic one. It's you know, getting smaller. The process of building muscle is an anabolic one. So it makes sense to pick the state you want to be in and go with it. That's why we have this very common bulk and cut. But it's not that I'm against bulk or cut. I would say to people, lose fat, then try and build muscle. But there's no reason you shouldn't be aiming to build muscle whilst losing fat. So yeah, let's go. Let's go. I do a lot of running while still lifting. Is your program suitable for a runner? I've got a lot of races coming up. I'm not a running coach, if I'm honest. I'm not that well versed in running. You probably would be better off with a running coach, if I'm completely honest. So no, but no reason you couldn't run concurrently against my program. But if you were joining my program just to get better at running, you'd be better off elsewhere. So yeah, your new book arrived today. Can't wait to start reading it. Thank you very much. Should my knee hit the deck when doing lunges? It's something, yes, no. It depends on what you're trying to do. If you're someone that doesn't like your knee touch the floor, I'll probably say no, actually. And then I would maybe step down from a plate or something, so then you can increase that range of motion if you're someone that doesn't want your knee to touch the floor. I'm trying to think about it now. When I do front rack reverse lunges, sometimes my knee does touch the ground. I'd say it's up to you. I'd say personal preference. Either way, you're going to be doing the exercise, aren't you? I've just enrolled on my level 2 and 3 course to become PT. Good luck. Is there somewhere I can send feedback and ideas for the app? Yes. feedback@jamesmithacademy.com. What are the 4 books your manager has asked you to read? They're actually not ones from my manager, they're ones from my publisher. So one of them, I actually only know the name of the first one. I've ordered 4, but I've started Think Again by Adam Grant. But I have to let you know how I go with it. Okay. Any issues with Waterstones? Pre-order the book. Mate, Waterstones having a fucking nightmare. I can only apologize. It's not my fault that Waterstones are having a bit of an issue. If you do cancel your order, you could get it half price at Amazon. I'm sorry. Maximum bench. I've never really put my values into my bench. You know, I've never really enjoyed bench press that much. So I've only probably a few times in my life gone for maximum bench, but maybe like 140, but no. Because imagine this. I have to regress the amount of weight I'm lifting on a bench to 60, 55 kilograms to get a good contraction actually on my chest. So, what's your take on Joe Wicks? I've spoken about this at length. Probably check out the last Stephen podcast or the first Stephen podcast. What are your thoughts about intermittent fasting while muscle building? So intermittent fasting for the majority of people means they will consume fewer calories because they skip eating in the first part of the day. Now, if you wanted to just build muscle, that could be a very important feeding window that you're not getting on. So people that want to lose fat, probably skipping breakfast is a good idea. People wanting to build muscle, probably skipping breakfast isn't a good idea. Okay. How are your cauliflower ears getting on from grappling? This one's gone a little bit, as you can see, this ear compared to this ear. This ear is fine. I've got a little bubble of cauliflower in there and a little bit here, but this is the one that's really starting to get a bit messed up. See, that's just all thick cartilage, but I'm not too bothered, if I'm honest. I think it looks quite cool. So, yeah, I enjoy it. I get a whack in the head. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Will your 12-week challenge have a lot of gym work? Yes, that's what primarily I coach people. I'm not a cardio coach. I get people to live sensible lives and do resistance training. Okay, what are your thoughts on... Oh, I just read that one. Coming to a show on my own on the 24th, excited but nervous to come alone. Beth, you'll probably make some friends. We've had people come to events on their own before who have met partners and they end up dating from it. So, yeah, wow. James, the 55-year-old, I feel sorry for the amount of useless information and just people's own opinions on nutrition, bro science, birds. Yes, thank you, Gary. All right, let's have a look. There's a lot of questions here. I do really appreciate you giving this many. We've got JSO one. James, thoughts on using creatine and calorie deficit? I know I've spoke to you before, but can't find about it now. Hope you're well. Martin Norman. So creatine is one of those things where I don't push it too much on people, but it will improve your performance. Almost all the times it will improve your physique. It will help you perform better. There are some kind of thoughts of literature coming out now that it can help you cognitively as well with your ability to think. And I think they're giving it to old people to maybe offset the chances of them having detrimenting effects to their like cognitive abilities. So yeah, it's one of those things I would never say against creatine, but this one is quite like a gristly powder. It's one of those things I don't really want to put loads of people like, you must have creatine. Love your straightforward approach to calories. Give me a kick in the ass, stay regimented, lost 12 pounds. Well done. I have PCOS, my cravings so bad. Any tips on staying consistent, not giving into cravings? Maybe eating later in the day for PCOS, especially carbohydrate backloading. Supplementation of inositol, I would always recommend as well. But yeah, what's your thoughts on ski erg? Not a massive fan. I don't see a ski erg and go, oh, I wish I was on that. Oh, I wish I was on that. Any recommended weights after cardio? Do you recommend weights after cardio? For context, my goal is to lose fat while maintaining muscle. Protein intake is good while maintaining calorie deficit. I would say do cardio after. You want to do the most difficult thing first. And weights is always going to be harder than cardio. I wouldn't pre-fatigue before doing complex movements like a squat or a deadlift or anything like that either. So it's always going to be weights first. Catherine, did you make these questions up before the live? Guess where I am in your new book? Yes. So back in the day when I used to do these lives, I used to make the questions up. Now you're older, thinking about having a family. Have you changed your thoughts about the importance of setting down roots, mortgage versus renting? This is a very good question, actually. So now I'm a little bit older. When I was younger, I was very much in this thought of like not getting a mortgage. I'm still there, if I'm honest. So a couple of things. I'm in a position where I could buy a house, 2 houses, 3 houses, and rent them out and get tenants, and that would be a very sensible thing to do with my money. But alternatively, I'm just enjoying myself. I work hard. I make enough money to make a living. I don't really like the idea of investing. I think passive income to me, although when I'm older I might regret this, but that's the beauty of life in hindsight. I'm not really interested in passive income. I do save a bit of money, but ultimately maybe in 3, 4, 5 years, I'd like to just buy a dream home and live in it. You know, I don't want to buy loads of little houses and rent them out and have this passive income. I'd rather just buy a mansion by the beach and get a dog. So this is the takeaway I want to really answer your question. I'm 33. When I was 27, I was over there in the garden with my dad, and I had no savings. I had no online business. I had no followers. I had about 3,000 online followers. I had about £3,000 to my name. And I said to my dad, I was thinking of going to Australia. Now, if my parents had been James Investment, James Mortgages, James all of this, my dad would have said to me, no, son, you're 27. You should probably get on with life and get a mortgage and hunker down and do what's right financially. Instead, my parents have never said to me, you know, they've never been like, you must invest your money. I went out on a whim. I went to Australia one way, and it was the best decision of my life. And because of that, I now have, you know, a successful business, several businesses, all of these things. The biggest danger I think I could have had is to spend my 20s worrying about investing instead of living, because there are going to be plenty. My dad's iPad. There are going to be plenty of 20-year-olds or 30-year-olds now who've got loads of properties, but they never made what they wanted to out of their life. There are a lot of people that, you know, seem to think that renting is wasting money. I was like, no, I've had the freedom to travel the world and, you know, go where I want, do what I want. If I'd been mortgage minded or investment minded, I might have had the properties, but I wouldn't have had the life of my dreams. So, and I'm not saying this is the same for everyone. I'm just saying that if it's important to you to have a house, have a house. But if it's not important to you, live your fucking life. Don't you think it's slightly insane that some people out there want to travel the world, but they followed someone else's values of security and bought a house? Not to mention the amount of people, sorry, I'm ranting, not to mention the amount of people that bought a house because it was the right thing to do with a partner because, you know, oh, can I get a mortgage on my own? No. Can I get it with a partner? Yes. Between 23 and 27, you're completely two different people. And the amount of young people that get together that break up is staggering. It's phenomenal. So many people did the right thing and got a mortgage. 4 years later down the line, they're having to sell the house, move out. People have got all this chaos in their life. They're like, oh, I'm 28. Oh, for the last few years, you know, I've got to sell the house. And then when I get the money from my partner. Again, another thing here. The amount of people that live or move to an area to live that they didn't want to live in. They go, oh, I'd love it. Should we get a house? Yeah, well, we can't afford the place we live in because we're renting. Let's go live somewhere we don't want to live so we can afford to have a mortgage on a house. So I'm not saying that I'm anti-mortgage or anything like that. I'm saying live your damn life. And again, like, so my mum and dad, the house I'm in now, I love it. It's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful home. I've had a great upbringing. But they've got a staggering mortgage on this. Like I'm still, even with everything that's happened in my life, I can't afford to pay off this mortgage yet. And my dad does like the interest-only mortgage, so he's not even chunking, not even digging into paying off the remortgage, and that's great. And he's never said to me like, oh, you know, when we die, you have the house or anything like that. You know, my dad said to me, fucking work. We shouldn't be worrying. We shouldn't be sacrificing our life so that our kids that we might not have had or met yet or, you know, had a conversation with yet can get a house for free. Surely the onus should be on us, living the best life we can possible in the time we have. And if you wake up going, yes, I own a home, that's amazing, that's cool. But a lot of people don't, okay? There's going to be loads of comments, people disagreeing. And even if you rented your whole life and you were happy and you'd lived a good life, surely passing that on to your children is better security than passing on a mortgage. Because I don't think it's a good idea to bring up kids knowing that, oh, don't worry about working hard, son. We'll give you a house when we die. Oh, don't worry about a car, son. We'll do all that. There is a good idea to buy an investment, whatever, but not at the cost of your fucking best years of your life. I'm in my prime. I don't want to worry about a 2-bed in fucking Reading having a boiler going. All right, for a few £100 a fucking month or whatever, I'd rather work. I enjoy working more. So there it is. There's my fucking rant on mortgages. I still don't own a home. I've never invested my money into anything, not even the S&P. My money in the bank is losing money through inflation, but I'm stress-free. And I love my job. I love my work. I love doing everything that I'm doing right now. You know, I prefer doing this. Gillian, do you think using straps for deadlifts is cheating? Why not? Not really, because, you know, in essence, your forearms aren't getting the training they need, but the rest of your body is. Your forearms can get trained in other things. Just do grip training if you really feel that bad about it. Cool. There was a lot of comments there, weren't there? There were a lot there. Let's have a look. How'd you go about doing a workout plan for somebody? How people do it for others? Ethan, I trained thousands of hours of PT on the gym floor. So I've trained a lot of people. So when people have come to me over the years going, these are my goals, I'm like, here's a workout plan. But the best thing is the workout programs that myself and my academy provide for people aren't so much, here's a tailored jacket, it's going to fit perfect. If you've ever had a tailored suit fit, we chuck a jacket on. How does that feel? Cool. We're going to tie in this bit. We're going to let out this bit. We're going to sew in the sleeves. That's how a training program works. The programs that we provide in my academy are not final. They're not like, this is your program for life. It's, hey, do this, try it out, see how you go. By the way, if you haven't hit like already. It's good for the YouTube algorithms. There's 150 people watching, only 30 people have hit like. So when it comes to giving people a training program, I don't go, this is going to be amazing. I go, can you use this, take it away and see what changes need to be done? That's why I have coaches in my academy that support me, because it means that we can rotate programs and make changes to them and amend them so that, things are a little bit easier. Okay. As a PT, you need to put in the rep. Should I start somewhere like an Equinox or a Crunch Fitness, cheaper gym in a richer area? Mate, do one that's close to your home because you're probably going to be going in and out of it quite a lot. Do what's best for you, and I'm sure you'll be successful wherever you go. Made the decision to move to Sydney at 30 after coming to one of your shows. Do you think it's ever too late for such a big lifestyle change? Again, old people on their deathbeds, when studied, regret the things they didn't do, not the things they did that didn't work out. I can't say that enough times to people. Can't say that. If you go move to America, Australia, wherever it is you want to go and it doesn't work out, you can just move back. But the regret of not doing those things could cost you a lot. I had a young guy ask me, James, I've inherited £10,000. What shall I do? The mortgage people were like, get a house, get the security, get yourself a house, bricks and mortar, only going one way. But me, I was like, mate, go travel. Go travel the world. Spend 10 grand. Go Thailand. Go Vietnam. Read some books. Fair enough, you might make 100 grand in 5 years with a property, but you might read a book and come up with £1 million idea. There's £1 million every year. The world is an amazing place where opportunity can happen to anyone. I think it's crazy that you would, for some of you, especially ones that you like highly driven and motivated, the idea that you would limit yourself to a few percent a year in growth on a house when potentially your mindset and some good books and good ideas and the way you see the world, you could potentially do much more than that. You could end up employing all your friends. And 10 years ago, 20 years ago, people said, oh, get off them computer games, you won't make any money. No, you can. You can do whatever you want. There's never been so much opportunity in the world. And it just kills me that some people are living in an area they don't want to live in. It's just an area they can afford. They're spending an hour each day commuting to work because all the places near their work they can't afford in. They're living with the person they're not in love with just so they can split the fucking mortgage. And they're doing it under the guise of, oh my God, these are good decisions I should be making in life. And I'm like, fuck you, live your life. Because, again, every person today that finds out they had cancer, probably the majority of them didn't know that was going to happen today. Then all the people that are told, sorry, you've got 6 months to live, probably thought that they would sell their house in 30 years and do something with it. And again, even if you do make money on a house or whatever, if you're, everyone that dies prematurely thought they were going to live old. And I think it's a gamble in itself for people to think that fucking their life's going to be all hunky-dory and they're going to be able to spend that money. Don't sacrifice your life now on the gamble that you can do it later in life. That's what I'm saying. Sorry, Vicky Fleming, how are you? JSA, loving reading your books. I'm returning to the gym after many years not doing it. On week 2 now, doing 3 times a week. How long before upping the frequency? I'm a busy working mum. 3 times a week is fine. You could live your life without doing any more than that. Even professional bodybuilders sometimes only train 4 times a week. So your frequency is great. I would then look to up your activity level. Maybe do something wholesome, join a Pilates class, do some yoga, something like that. Gary, James, you're going to the Arnold. Not this year. Maybe next year. But this sounds bad. This was going to sound a bit wanky. I don't particularly like fitness expos. So I would want to get paid to go. And I'm waiting for them to make an offer. If they make an offer, I'll go. But I'm not going to go out of the goodness of my heart because it would be not good for the soul. Okay, let's have a look. Any tips for someone that's starting BJJ? Yes, use YouTube, relax. You're better off getting beaten. Don't work harder than 7 out of 10. Whatever you're doing, don't put more effort in than 7 out of 10 for BJJ, whatever. Even if someone beats you, doesn't matter. You're better off training every day at a lower intensity than trying to be a hero. So yeah. Curious if you still have any information on Waterstones have fucked me on everyone. I'm really sorry. Okay. What's your favorite color? Don't know. Are your t-shirts your own brand? No, I got given this at a book signing. So the lad said, will you wear my t-shirt? I said, yeah. Some people, right, for Gymshark get £10,000 a month to wear the gear. People say to me, they're like, James, you wear my t-shirt? I'm like, yeah, go for it, mate. Go for it, mate. What's with the tash? For any of you that I had a bit of a beard, was getting a bit itchy. And I was thinking, do you know what? I miss my face. And the tash, it's just a bit cheeky, isn't it? If you haven't like, you like already. If you haven't share, hit share. How do I know when I should be asking the academy coaches for changes to my program? If anything doesn't feel good, you might do riff elevated split squats and not like it and just say, hey, I don't like this. You might be doing a bench press. You're like, this doesn't feel nice. You might put you on a plate loaded chest press or whatever. Whatever you want changed to your program, this program ultimately has to fit you. And we will bend over backwards to make sure we do that. What would your advice be to someone starting YouTube today? Read the YouTube formula. How do I overcome fear of traveling abroad alone as a female? It's a very genuine, valid point. I would say travel to safer places for a start. You know, places like South America that could be pretty dangerous. You know, places like Australia, I think you'd be fine. So it would be about picking places like that. And yeah, stay in backpackers, stay in places where you can make friends with people. You know, it is a little bit uncomfortable going up to groups of travelers and asking them, but all those fears and insecurities you have of being alone traveling, backpackers have that as well. And you have this shared vulnerability when you go traveling, which is one of the beautiful things about how you connect with people. And that's why people, me and my friends, all these British people in Bondi, we get on so well. We have this strong sense of shared vulnerability. We're all away from home. We're all like living in Peter Pan land. So yeah, okay. Let's get through the last maybe 5 minutes here. Jesus, I missed some bloody questions, didn't I? Okay. Jenna said, what's your thoughts on banking calories through the week for a night at the weekends? Yes, absolutely. You know, we do that with money. So why shouldn't we do that with calories? Up to you. Start tracking your calories on a Friday, and then you will see what little amount of calories you have during the week. And that will give you an idea of whether or not you're overdoing it the weekend. So yeah. Advice for young PTs starting self-employed. Come to one of my business events if you need a bit of help with marketing and all that, but good luck. Okay. What do you prefer, audiobook or hardback? Do you know what? I used to be an audiobook person, but now I'm taking hardbacks with me to Dubai. I'm going to Dubai in about a month, and I'm going to get there in the sun, tan a bit, and read that. Why do I get left knee pain sometimes when squatting? I wish I knew, mate, but I don't know. I would say probably see a physio. Thoughts on refeeds for body recomp? It depends on the periodization. Like refeeds would probably come after carbohydrate depletion, or refeeds are also commonly used as a bit of a diet break. You know, so let's say you're very low on calories for a while, you could go back to the maintenance or even a slight surplus if controlled to, you know, homeostasis would be the main reason. People think you can like trick your hunger hormones like ghrelin and leptin, but really it's just going back to baseline for a bit. So yeah. Hi James, fantastic book, giving away a few copies, thank you very much. Wondering about the whole writing process. Now, people don't like to hear this, but I'll tell them anyway. Writing a book isn't difficult. If I sat you down every morning from 9 till 9:30 and I put a gun to the side of your head, and I said, right, research for 15 minutes, then write for 15 minutes on a topic, and do that every day, you'd have a book at the end of it. The issue isn't the writing process so much, it's the belief. So I have to believe that I'm worthy of taking information from people smarter than me and breaking it down and presenting it to people in the process of a book. So it's more of a self-belief thing than it is anything else. If I want to make you an author, I just need to make you believe that you are capable of giving people information in a manner that they can absorb and appreciate. And at the end of the day, I charge £10 a book on Amazon, let's say. After it goes through the publishers, I get maybe £1. So I get £1 a book. but you pay 10. So I have to make sure that what I've written over the course of a year is worth £10. And if it's worth £10, I should be able to say, yeah, cool, sweet. And at the end of the day, I say to people like, look, I got paid £1 to do that for a year. You get the book. It should be like a pretty good deal. Thoughts on wrist locks? Cheap move or legit subs? Yeah, use a wrist lock. The best thing about using the wrist lock is you bang it on to get a reaction from them. Someone might be chilling, you have an omoplata on them, you can't bother to sit up, you bang the wrist, they'll get a bit scared. Wondered your view on calisthenics as a training method instead of weights. Do you know what? I'm not very good at calisthenics. That's definitely a bias that I have. I'm not great at my body weight because I'm a very big, heavy guy. I think that if you can master it, it's probably great. But for a lot of us, including myself, there's a big barrier into getting into that. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a little link in the comments at the bottom now. You should be able to see it. It's a James Smith Academy link. What I've asked of you here, I just want your email address. I just want to be able to send you emails about, promotions, events, maybe another book, whatever it is. And I just like to communicate you via email pretty much. I'll never spam you. I'll never give away your email address to anyone. I'll keep it very safe. So I've put that link in the comments there. I can also use that to promote these lives so you can come on and watch another one again. So as we hit the 26-minute mark, I just want to say thank you very much for tuning in. If you haven't hit like, please hit like already. If you haven't given me your email, please give me your email. And please do subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'm trying to grow it so that I can get more guests on for the podcast and things like that. But you guys have been amazing. Thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate it. And I will see you at the very next live stream. See you in a bit. Bye-bye.